Just the past 4 weeks, an uptick in sexual assaults and drugging incidents has been reported on college campuses across the country. And yesterday, the University of Southern California responded, suspending an on-campus fraternity. And this happened as a female student was allegedly brutally attacked by a fraternity member at the University of Delaware earlier this month. But what happened at USC isn't unique, and many times taking a stand needs to happen in more influential and creative ways. Enter the power of social media. Protests on at least 10 college campuses have taken place since the start of the school year now, spurred in part by the power of TikTok, leading us to open our eyes and pay attention to our next guest. Kira Span, a student at the University of Delaware, leading the fight on her campus and on social media. Also joining us, Tracy Vichers, the executive director of It's On Us, a nonprofit dedicated to combating college campus sexual assault. Kira, so good. By the way, it's so weird saying my own name, but you've got a great name, Kira. Great to see you. Glad to have you with us.
Thank you so much.
On a much more serious note, though, on October 8th this month at your school, a female student was allegedly attacked by her ex-boyfriend, Brandon Frere, a member of the fraternity Kappa Delta Rho. And according to the police report, he was charged with kidnapping, second-degree assault, and strangulation. And then 4 days after the assault, Kappa Delta Rho released a statement saying that they took action to expel the person from our organization. The university also condemned the incident, saying, quote, they denounced the violence reported and call for our community to come together and advance our goals of a campus climate free of all violence, including gender-based violence and violence against women. So, Kira, let's start with you. After you found out about this, you actually went on TikTok. You put together this video. And as we watched it unfold, thousands of students came out in support. I don't know if we can take a look at that. There we go. Here it is. And you got 8.2 million views on this video. Why do you think that this drew such a powerful reaction?
I think the biggest problem that we've been having here is the fact that we all learned about this assault online. One of my friends texted me a link to the post. The university said nothing to us. So I think our campus, and especially women on our campus, felt very unsafe because we were all thinking, what if this happened to us? So we kind of all decided to take to the streets and have a protest. And I'm so thankful for social media because the university didn't respond until it had this national attention on it. And I don't know if we would be where we are now without that.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? I mean, video, pictures, it really, the visuals make such a difference. And I'm curious what kind of response you got from the entire campus community. And I'm also very curious if you got any support from male students, particularly members of the fraternities, because if you look at that video, at parts you go across and you see a lot of young male students, let's say, not being really supportive of what you're doing, and I'm putting it lightly. So tell me about the response, and have you received support from male fraternities?
We actually have had a really great response with Greek life on our campus. The problem with our first protest was, of course, there were those members that were on the porch, they were not members of KDR, they were members of an off-campus fraternity here. So we were able to figure that out. But yeah, we actually had a really great Greek response. The problem with our first protest is that when everyone was walking by, they were like, what's going on? And half of the people walking by had no idea what was happening. But Greek life has already made actually pretty crazy changes on our campus before the university has even implemented them. So we've had good support from the student body here.
Well, that sounds incredible. Tell us what kind of changes have been made. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah, so they've implemented more rules on safety when it comes to moving like going out and that kind of stuff. They've done a lot of really amazing changes there. I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to speak on that, just because that's not really my area of expertise, but there have been changes that have been made. And the student body collectively have also made a list of requests from the university on what we can do to make our campus safer. So we've been working with an administration and local legislation on pushing that forward as well.
Well, that's news right there. So we will definitely follow up because I want to know specifically what changes were made. And Tracy, maybe you're tuned into those and you can tell us, because according to your organization, 50% of all sexual assaults occur on college campuses. I mean, that number is striking, and it happens before the Thanksgiving break. So how much does Greek life contribute to this? And how do we continue to try and change the culture here?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on today. You know, as you just mentioned, right now we are in the middle of what is called the red zone on college campuses. University administrators and experts know that more than 50% of all the sexual assaults that occur during the school year happen from the day that freshmen arrive for first day move-in and end up basically being done by the time that they leave for Thanksgiving break. This is really troubling that this happens every year. And this year, we've seen this issue of the red zone exacerbated because we have a class of freshmen coming to campus for the first time who are historically the most vulnerable. But we also have sophomore students, many of whom have spent the first year of their college experience Zooming, not having a traditional freshman year experience, now coming to campus, and they're essentially socially and culturally freshmen, which is making two classes of students very vulnerable to experiencing sexual violence and having perpetrators harm them. As it relates to Greek life, a 2019 study found that men in fraternities are 300% more likely to perpetrate sexual assault than other male student populations on campus. But what the study also found that's important to note is that it is not all men in fraternities who are committing these acts of sexual violence. It found that approximately only 5% of the men were committing the vast majority of sexual assaults, which essentially indicated that the men were repeat perpetrators. Of the incidents reported in this study, 46% of the incidents were committed by men who admitted to raping 10 or more times, which is terrifying.
That is terrifying. That is completely terrifying. And, you know, we talk about prevention, you know, education, but clearly that's not enough. I mean, what is it going to take to really see change? And, you know, men truly, the male students have a responsibility here as well. It's not just, you know, thousands of women that we see on the streets protesting that can make a difference here. I mean, there is an accountability to male students as well.
There is accountability for male students, and It's on Us is very much focused on talking to young men on college campuses about prevention education. One of the things that is really frustrating about the ways colleges and universities approach sexual assault prevention is that they don't actually approach it as prevention and culture change. They approach it through the lens of institutional risk management. And in many cases, schools only require students to commit or to complete a 30-minute say online webinar that they click through very hurriedly before they have to apply for classes. That is not sexual assault prevention. That's not education. That's asking students to basically blindly watch a webinar, and then the school can say, well, 100% of our schools completed prevention education. And we know that that's not enough, which is why It's on Us was founded to call young men into these conversations and empower them to understand what sexual assault looks like, what it means to get consent, how to be an active bystander. If you see something, say something, step in, do something about it. Because we know that 85% of survivors of college sexual assault know their perpetrators. But guess what? The young men on campus know who those perpetrators are too. They just have not received a proper education in how to have those tough conversations or how to intervene when they see something bad is about to happen. So we really need to start empowering young men with the knowledge and skills that they need to be a part of the solution to this issue. And that's really what It's on Us is focused on doing.
That's so fantastic. And, you know, parents have a tremendous responsibility here, too. We should be raising our girls and our boys differently. Kira, you've also started an Instagram account called Coalition of Change. Tell us about that, how it has brought students together across the country, and more importantly, you know, how you're going to keep the momentum going.
Yeah. So I alone do not speak for my entire student body. And while I was the organizer of these past two protests, we knew that moving forward, we need better representation. So we've created a leadership team, a very diverse leadership team, to kind of front this change going forward and all work together. Our goal right now is to really implement these strategies and these things that we want to change, not just on University of Delaware's campus, but all throughout Delaware, and then hopefully eventually the nation. Education is the best form of protection. So doing things before they happen is really what we want to change. We don't want to focus on afterwards. We want to worry about how we can actually fix this before the problems start.
Well, we have all here among the team been just so proud to see the difference that you've made. Kira and Tracy, thank you so much for your time. It's so important to stay on top of this, and let's continue to talk about the changes and the awareness. Keep in touch with us, please.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for having us on.
You bet.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.